appreciate the Arthur for all the help we've got advertising the elections, and obviously the videos will be on there as well. So the Arthur will gladly take 3 questions, a maximum, and if you would like to ask a question, please make your way to this microphone.
Come on, somebody's got to have a question. We're pretty controversial.
Awesome. I think there's unanimous consent that
Can we give just a couple more? We get lots of letters.
okay, we'll give it a shot.
Pardon?
What's your local news editor?
Gray Hutchinson is our local news editor. They're
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Are you really all Bulldogs?
We are not all the legs. There are in fact mostly femmes.
Our next speaker is going to be a representative from the Season Spoon. Welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Robin. I work for the Spoon as Education and Outreach Coordinator, so I do a lot of the planning of events we've been doing. We've been running a bunch of workshops. We're talking about, as we've been discussing, sort of the restructuring of the food policy at Trent. We work with Vegetable Gardens. I coordinate the volunteers. Does anybody not know what the Season Spoon is? I won't make you single yourselves out. We're a non-profit organization, a student-driven organization, sort of designed to address food sovereignty and issues at Trent. So we're not only an alternative to the cafeteria food service provider, but we're also an important educational tool as well, or opportunity for people. So we do that through, like I said, the workshops. We've been having a really awesome series this year. We also do that through paid staff positions. We hire, I think there's 16 of us this year. So that's a pretty significant staff. If you guys are ever looking for a job, it's a great opportunity. We also give volunteer opportunities as well, which is a really great chance to get people in the kitchen and sort of learning basic skills. So yeah, what we're looking for this year is a $2 one-time levy, and this is to support the construction of a root cellar at the Spoon. So we already have a student levy, which is really great. You guys have already supported us a lot. And we're building this root cellar, which is really important to sort of address the creation of what we call a localized food community at Trent. So we have the producers, one of which being Trent itself, the Trent Gardens. We're able to grow a lot of our own food. We're able to develop relationships with the farmers and sort of get a lot of our food that way. And we have the other end of the spectrum, which is the eaters, which is all of you guys who I see in the Spoon all the time, which is awesome. So what's sort of lacking in much of sort of the general food perspective right now is that middle ground. So the storage, the preserving, like all that stuff that would enable us to get from the summer season to like where we are right now, where we're just kind of eating a lot of parsnips and stuff. So a root cellar is a really great way to help us address that, and that's why we're asking you guys for some cash. So that's basically it. We're hoping that the root cellar will be able to make us a more sustainable organization in that we'll save a little bit on food costs, being able to buy more in bulk and store it through the year, which would also save us on sort of the gas and transportation issue too, right? We wouldn't have to source as much from the market or from otherwise. We would be able to grow more and store it, which also sort of brings us to linkages with the Trent Gardens. That it would better strengthen that. The Trent Gardens doesn't belong to the Spoon. I don't know if you guys actually know that. We just sort of work with them, which is really great. We have an awesome partnership, but the root cellar would sort of enable us to grow more food, basically, which comes to the whole educational opportunity. That gives you guys a lot more educational chances to get out there and learn some stuff. We'll need volunteers to help us build the root cellar. It'll also sort of give way to a lot more educational opportunities in terms of sort of how that root cellar works. The root cellar is really interesting because it's using really state-of-the-art green technology. It's going to be total zero output or input energy. We're just using all natural energy, so using the energy from the ground. In the winter, keep it cold. In the summer, vice versa. So there's that. It's also really neat, the design of it. It's all going to be very sustainable construction, rammed earth bags. So there's an educational opportunity right there. We're also supporting greens construction and supporting local construction as well. Is that my ding? Okay, thanks. So yeah, it's altogether a really awesome chance to sort of do something really neat at Trent. It's also going to have a green roof, which is kind of a cool technology as well. So basically, yeah, just allowing the Spoon to better support you guys and give us better access to healthy local food all year round. So $2 one time, that's what we're asking. Hopefully you guys can support us.
Thank you very much. There is an opportunity for questions. I have a question. Go ahead.
Thank you. This is Matthew Wenjack speaking. I spoke to this a little bit before. As a sitting president of a student organization, I know how far $2 goes. You said that you're going to be asking for volunteers to build this root cellar, so you wouldn't be paying them. So I'm wondering where between $9,000 and $10,000 is going to go, because that's what $2 rounds out to per year. So can you just give us an idea where that $10,000 is going to go?
Yeah, I sure can, for sure. Well, it's a really expensive root cellar, to put it bluntly. Yeah, it really is. I don't know if you've ever done any research into construction of a root cellar, but it's quite a costly procedure, I guess. The root cellar itself, it's pretty big. I'm trying to get an eye. It's probably from here to sort of where the camera's standing, so this whole space, right? Maybe not quite.
So around 15 feet.
Oh, radio. Sorry for the radio folks out there. Yeah, it's a pretty large space. It's also, the technologies that it's using are really advanced. They've also been proven to be sort of the most sustainable that's out there. So definitely most of the money is going into the actual construction. And yeah, it's definitely a costly endeavor. But you mentioned the fact that we won't be paying people. We definitely will be paying people. There is a professional crew located in Peterborough, so I don't know how many people will be employed through that, but they're definitely they're great guys. I should clarify that I haven't been involved with the planning stages of this. I was sort of asked to speak last minute, so I can't give you exact details, but there's definitely some jobs being created there, and we're supporting a local Peterborough organization, which is important. Where the education, where the volunteers come in, we're not just looking for free labor. It's not we're going hey, give us your money and then come work for us. This is a really great chance for students. A lot of us are really interested in sustainable building techniques, and this is a really great chance to get people out there in the ground, learning how this stuff works, so that we can actually take this to a newer level. And hey, if you and I go out and build a root cellar, we can do it in our own house, right? 20 years down the road or whatever. So the idea is that root cellars were something that 50 or 60 years ago, every backyard would have had one. Now nobody does. And where do we store our food, right? We're relying on, the Spoon has 2 chest freezers, which are obviously quite energy intensive and don't allow us to store the food that we need. So yeah, the root cellar is a costly endeavor. I'm fully with you on that. I understand. I know that tuition fees are rising, and there's not much we can do about it, and the student groups aren't seeing that money, right? It's administration. So I think that rather than I understand, yeah, your question's totally valid, for sure, but I think that as student organizations, it's important for all of us to work together and support each other, and like Brea was saying, address these very systematic sort of things that are happening within the university that, it's important to test them, where's the money going? It's definitely not going into building a root cellar, that's, yeah. So that's what we're asking you guys, as well as a number of different grant organizations. So, yeah, I think that answers your question, I hope, to the best of my ability. If you have any more questions about the cost of the root cellar, please feel free to contact the board at seasonspoon@gmail.com. Easy to remember, and they can answer your questions better than I could.
Sure, perhaps since you were involved with the plan, there's one more quick question JP's allowing me to ask. Do you know at all where it's going to be on campus?
Oh yeah. No, it's, do you know where, Champlain, where the, sort of the back entrance to Aramark Kitchens?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Is everybody familiar? So there's sort of a parking lot back there if you're going on in between LEC and Champlain. So there's a little picnic area where the Aramark ladies sit and have their smokes, and gentlemen too. So unfortunately, they're not going to have that picnic table anymore, because that's where the root cellar is going. We're going to take that. So it probably isn't quite the size of this room. It's a little bit smaller, but it is going to go right in that green space there. So we also have a loading dock fridge there that we have access to, so it's pretty close. So it's just good to keep it all in one area. So.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Any other questions, or?
We're going to have another question.
Hopefully I can answer it.
Well, I think you can.
Okay, let's see.
My name's Keith McNeely. I'm on the campaign team for Jonathan Alphonsus for TCSA president. So I just wanted to clarify, you said it's a $2 increase, but it's a one-time, right?
Yeah, it's not an increase. I think the way, it's a one-time levy, so I don't think it's an increase to the levy that we have right now. And I'm
Okay.
sorry that I can't answer that more fully.
But by one time, you mean this is just gonna be 1 year,
One
and then
time,
we've got it, and
once,
then that's something
yeah.
the school has for as long as it's up and staying.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
That's a really good way of putting it. $2, so the price of a brownie at the Spoon, one time from all of us, and we could have something that I don't think any other university in Canada actually has. And if they do have a root cellar, it's definitely not a root cellar like this. So
Okay.
yes, thank you.
So yeah, I'm just saying, that's something, it's a part of our school afterwards, it's part of our image. I think that's a great thing.
Thank you.
I support you.
Are there no further questions? Thank you for having some time to address us. And Scissor Spoon is one of the few very unique things about Trent, and this is going to increase our special